So I'm not a big Stephen King fan. In fact, I think his writing's a little dull most of the time. But this Dark Tower trailer that dropped looks amazing. Yamdal, I can't think of how to say his name, puts his sword away, loses his affinity stone, and becomes a badass six shooter.
Right.
I'm on board. I love this. This is going to be a great movie.
We'll see. And now, my issue behind that is that the Dark Tower series is part of the Marvel Universe.
Which is fine. 100% okay. Because, right? So theoretically, if Yamdal had an Affinity Stone for years, millions of years, why couldn't he make a fracture of himself to go forth and be this guy in the Dark Tower series? Like, you know what I like
right?
watching watching humans and their souls for millennia. I really like this cowboy time. I wish I was a cowboy. Woo!
Yeah, okay. No, I'll give you that. That's good. I'm done. You got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had this victory.
Right? Especially like if he does have that last soul
He's
stone.
got to have the last stone. He's got to have the soul stone. They've just been sprinkling it in all the movies.
Right. Like he's the guardian of the tower, or he's the guardian of the road. And like he controls where everything is in the realms.
So he like says things like, "I can see all 9 billion souls."
Yeah.
Like he says that. When you have an Affinity Stone, your eyes are like a weird color, and he's got orange eyes. Like in the Thor movie, he's like blind. Clearly, he loses the stone and he loses his eyes in the process.
Right.
Like it all makes sense. That's where it is. I don't know what will happen if he doesn't have the stone. Like how messed up shit's gonna get then. Right? Like I just don't make any. I don't understand that. Also, like how else do you make the bridge work? Right? Like I will send you body and soul to wherever you're going. Right? With the rainbow bridge.
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's too perfect. It's too perfect. But this is not a comic book podcast, Travis. This is a podcast about Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons or comic books, depending on what we feel like that particular second. But today...
Depending on what we get distracted with.
But today it's about Magic the Gathering. This is Two Trolls and a Brew, episode 81. The cat is dead. Be still my heart. Watsy, I got a big old bag of dicks over here for you to suck on. And you can do that. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, a lot of hate for that. Samus Garobo at twitter.com. Feel free. Poo on me. Can't be any worse than what Wizards did. Couldn't be any worse.
Oh, that cat. I'm like, your own personal cat? Why would you flip off your own kitty?
One, I'm allergic to cats. Cats are bad. Except for that one, Philidor Guardian. The only good cat that ever lived, ever.
It's debatable. I had a pretty good cat. His name was Hemlock.
You know what? I take it back. I had a good cat once. It thought it was a dog. It was great.
Actually, the majority of the cats that I've had, I think 1 out of the 10 cats in my whole life have been shit.
Yeah. That's just cats.
So 9 out of the 10 were good.
Was a dog. No. The other way around.
That's literally what I just said, and you're like, yeah.
No, you said 9 out of 10 of my cats were just shit.
No, I said 1 out of the 10 were shit.
Oh, my bad. I'm going to call that pleasant hearing or factual truth hearing or alternate facts or something.
Alternate facts, there you go.
So this week's subtitle, The Age of Land Go. That is where I'm at now. Land Go.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't do that. Land Go. No, you can't do that. Land Go. That's just where I am now. They crushed me. I was like doing all this cool stuff. I was playing all these creatures, drawing cards, like activating planeswalkers, doing all this fun stuff, like making combos happen. Nope. F them. Just
Land Go.
Land Go. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. All right, so this week's troll cards. Mine is obviously Approach the Second Sun. Like, I can't imagine there's a better card right now for the kind of world that I'm living in this post-Saheeli combo world that was
So
glorious.
the the only reason I'm upset that the kitty got banned was because Sunscorched Desert is a thing now, and instead of attacking them to death, I just wanted to blink a bunch of deserts and kill them that way, like just as slowly as possible.
So there's a lot of things that are wrong with it. I don't necessarily disagree that Standard should lose the combo. I will not argue that point. It's completely fair that this combo should not exist in Standard. My problem is the bullshit that they told to make this happen.
Like 2 days after or whatever.
It was fine on Monday, right? 2 days later, the reasoning is, well, we had 2 whole days of Magic Online to see how the metagame shifted, and it didn't. So we're going to kill it. Like, you're going to tell me that there's enough cards released in 2 days via drafts that everything everyone can play the standard they want to play, and because it didn't change in 2 whole days of Magic Online, you're going to change? No, you did it because people cried and bitched and moaned. And instead of listening to the crying, bitching, and moaning that happened 2 weeks before and the previous 2 weeks, you went, "Oh, people are really mad that we didn't ban this thing. Maybe we should ban. Maybe we should ban it." Like someone sent me 18 cats in a box, just their heads.
And not even like real cat heads. Someone went and fabricated paper mache cat heads.
They all somehow look like Aaron Forsyth. I don't understand. I don't understand with little cat ears. I mean, it's just like, come on, this is bullshit. Again, and I was fine. I would have been totally fine and 100% okay if they banned it on Monday. And they could have had the exact same reasoning, essentially, except instead of saying, Magic Online, blah, 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 blah. They could have went for the last 2 weeks. This is dominated. And we don't think that that's going to change with the addition of these cards unless we give a shakeup.
Right.
They could have said that and banned it. And I would have been completely okay with it. But they went, oh, here, have 2 days of like high-fiving and play testing and be like, sweet, I have all these cards, like, 6 or 7 or 10 slots that I can play with in my deck. And like, let's do some stuff. Or all right, maybe the 4-color Saheeli is not the way to go anymore. Maybe we should do this 2 or 3 different combos in here. Like, what? Wizards shot me in the foot 2 days later for no reason. Thanks, Wizards. So yeah, I was hit pretty hard. The news, I was live streaming, and I watched the Twitter feed the best I can while I'm streaming, and emergency ban announcement flies across my Twitter feed. And I'm like, oh, I better check this out, and I click it, and I start reading it, and it's like, I just completely fall apart right on the Twitter stream, or right on the stream. I was just
It was hilarious. Mainly because you got pissed off, and that makes me laugh.
I mean, it was, and I'm sure in a couple of years when I've gotten over this, it'll be funny.
A couple of years.
But I was pretty hot.
I was pretty laughing.
I bet you were. So now that that is gone and the time of fun is over, there'll be no more fun. Fun shall not be had any longer. Everyone will play their islands and pass and wait until somebody makes the first move. That is how it is going to be. And my finisher of choice is going to be Approach the Second Sun. Because they know that it's coming. And they have nothing they can do about it.
I'm on a slightly different page than you.
Okay.
This is where my troll card of the week comes in, especially since I was reading it wrong. My troll card, and it's been one before. At least I think it has, and I know we've talked about
Talked
it a
about it
lot.
several times. I looked at putting it into one of the decks that we're going to look at later today. It was on my short list of cards.
So mine is Mirror Pool, and it's a land from that set that it was in.
Oath of the Gatewatch.
Yeah, that's it. Shows how much I cared about that set. Uh,
And technically, it's got 4 powers.
no,
Like it's basically a planeswalker.
it only has 3.
No.
It comes into the battlefield tapped as not a power.
1 power.
That's its weakness.
Power.
It taps to add a butthole mana,
Butthole mana. Power 2.
or you can tap 2 generic and a butthole and sacrifice it to copy target instant or sorcery spell, and then you may choose new targets.
Power 3.
Or you can pay 4 generic and a butthole and sacrifice it and put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature you control.
4 powers. 4 powers right there. Bam.
I want to go
Not
3
all
powers and a
powers
weakness.
Not all powers is created equal, my friend.
Oh, yeah, that's why they're called weaknesses.
No, sometimes it's just a power that you don't realize how good it is yet.
No, it's pretty bad. But anyways, I'm playing this with my beautiful friend that I think I love greatly, Fling.
Fling is pretty sweet.
So I read it entirely like I was reading Fling and Mirror Pool wrong. So if you pay the 3 and you copy Fling, you don't have to choose new targets for the Fling. It's just going to copy the power of the creature you already sacrificed.
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
So the deck that I'm running it in is Metalwork Colossus.
That's I think a good place for it.
Yeah.
At least a good place to start.
So you sacrifice 1 creature, and if you have the Mirror Pool in play, you just win.
I'm curious. If I copy something with a what's that ability called from the deck list that I posted earlier? Damn it, where's the notes? So if I cast Bring to Light, what's that ability called? Converge. All right, if I cast a Converge spell, does Mirror Pool copy the Converge amount? Because if
hold on. Go again.
So if I cast a Bring to Light for, say, all 5 mana.
Yeah.
And then I Mirror Pool the Bring to Light while it's on the stack.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I'm going to get a second spell that is 5?
I believe so, since it's copying the entire spell.
Interesting. I'd have to look and see. I'm looking through the Gather right now, and I'm not seeing that particular question answered. So, because it's an ability of the spell, my gut would say no. But maybe it will. Interesting. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Mirror Pool. I have not played it a ton. I've basically used it as a butthole mana with the occasional upside in the late game.
Right.
I know that you have done a lot more with it than I have in the past, but I am a big fan of doing awesome things with Fling or the Fling Kitty. The Fling Kitty is huge. I really think that the uh, insult to injury card is basically one of the best cards right now.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a deck that I was going to try. That was basically like a fling deck. It ran a bunch of really low cost 5 power creatures. Let me see. Man, we posted so many deck lists over at samusgaroba.com in the last couple of weeks. I'm having a hard time finding things. But basically, it's just like this little aggro thing that kind of gets there sometimes. But I broke it out again, and I switched away from like the Red God, and I switched into a couple of Fling Cats.
Okay.
And I added a couple of assaults to injury. The deck gets much better as soon as you're like, attack for 5 with something, and then, or you assault, attack for 5, which turns into 10, and then you fling something for the last 20, for the last 10 points of damage. It's so good. It's such an interesting idea for a combo deck. Whether or not it holds up long term, especially in this, again, new age of land go, I have no idea. Probably not. But if it does, then something like Mirror Pool could easily work its way into the deck, especially if you like Mirror Pool and Assault. So damage is quad tripled, right? So then all of a sudden you throw a 5/5 that does 20 damage with a fling instead. Seems okay. So, I don't know. Seems all right. So I got a text message from you on Tuesday, I think, or Monday, something. I'm going to look through this. You said, and I quote, drafting tonight was the S word. So how was your draft, buddy?
I drafted a pretty good control deck. When I say that, I mean I had I had 7 embalmed creatures, and let's see, so I had 7 embalmed creatures, just removal, and then just more stall, right? To the point where, I had like 4 flyers that would eventually win the game because, well, they can't target them. And if they do, I just bring them back with Embalm.
Right.
But the deck, with the exception of the flyers, it was all 1 and 2 drops. Like the flying and the removal, that was it. It was just 1 and 2 drops. But so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna run 16 lands, and then I will go from there. Because if I need another land, then I'll add another land. So the first round, I ended up, what was it? The first round I had a bye. So that was my only win of the night. So that first round that I actually played, I had, the 16 lands in the deck. We went 2-1. The one game that I won, I didn't flood. Like, I saw 10 lands in that first game out of 16. I was like, okay, maybe I just didn't shuffle it right. Whatever. We'll get through this. Second game, perfect curve. I drew 3 lands. That's all I needed. I stalled them out, and then I won the game. Third game, 11 lands. And I'm like, all right. Maybe it was just, bad shuffling, because sometimes that does happen. I'll let it slide. Wasn't getting tilted yet. The second round that I played, 12 lands. And I'm like, all right, now I'm starting to feel a little bit tilty. I took out 1 land, dropping down to 15 where I normally run 17. And I flooded out again. I got 9 lands. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I lost that game. So round 3, I shuffled up. I did pile shuffle, then I, shuffled again. First game, 11 lands. Second game, I curved out perfectly. He couldn't do anything against me. It also helped that I played Gideon's Intervention on his Glorybringer. But then last game, 13. I drew 13 lands out of my 15. I'm like, I don't know. It was just a real, like I sent you the text, it was a real shit draft. The draft was good. The playing was bad.
So I know that you can't really blame a block on something like this, but I have noticed this happening a lot. It feels like this block, it probably happens all the time, and we just usually ignore it for no big deal or whatever, but we're creatures of habit, and these are the things that stick out to us. So, like, the draft, I did fine. I felt like my draft was fine. I ran maybe 1 land more than I should have. But the draft seemed okay to me.
Yeah.
But I noticed at least 2 other players that drafted the same thing, and they were running like 15 lands, and they were getting upset that they were continuously flooding out with 15 lands in their deck. And I'm like, man, that's rough. So it happened to me at the Sealed a couple of times. It happened at least a couple of guys drafting. It happened to you drafting. So my brain starts like churning through these patterns because that's what I do. Maybe more cycle cards, maybe more pitch cards. Like maybe Tormenting Voice has a lot more value this set than in other sets, where maybe you throw away a land, but maybe you're also throwing away a split card or an aftermath card or a something else. Like maybe instead of being like a 7th or 8th pick, Tormenting Voice is up to a 4th or 5th pick.
I don't know. 3.
It could easily be a third pick. I don't know.
Like I'm gonna have to draft it again just to find out. Like, I mean, obviously we're still gonna be drafting, but like,
I'm excited for more drafts. That's for sure.
Yeah, it just got me tilted more than anything, just because like, with the deck that I had, I shouldn't have lost anything.
Sure. I know it's easy to feel that way.
Yeah. Well, no, and like everybody that saw my deck was like, wow, dude, what's going on here? Because I had Dusk to Dawn, Gideon's Intervention, the Wayward Zombie, and then I had, what was it? 3 other zombies, but then 7 embalm things to also trigger the zombie stuff. And then the Trespasser's Curse, for like stabilization. Like it was just all sorts of, I had the stall, I had the ability to, just remove everything. And then I had all the ability to bring everything back with Dusk to Dawn. But it was just, instead, I needed to draw probably a total of 700 lands in 4 rounds.
So
it was actually 3 rounds because I only played 3 of the 4.
I want to say, first of all, if we could all just get around and look at the decks and decide who's the winner, that wouldn't be Magic, right?
Right.
So we have to keep that in mind. Variance is a thing. Variance is what makes Magic work, and it keeps it fun. Now, it's not always fun or easy to keep that in mind. Like, for example, I definitely felt like I had the best deck on Saturday. So Saturday we had a tournament with a cash payout, new standard. And I had planned on playing something out of left field. One of the decks that we'll talk about later in the show is, in fact. And it didn't quite come together, so I ended up playing my version of of a red white a Teamer Tower, right? My
Hmm.
version of the Teamer Tower, which I really loved. I really liked it a lot. Um, I could see playing it more into the future here, but I want to try something else. Excuse me. Um, but I definitely felt like I had the best deck. I was playing well. I was essentially in the finals, well, the quarterfinals, and I just got dumb. Right, this is the tag. I'm a misplay god. I made literally like 8 misplays in the same turn. Um, for
Holy
no
crap!
reason. For no reason. I just completely punted the whole turn. Lost the match because of it. Um, but
Talk about
essentially,
tilt.
oh my, it was so bad. Like it was game 3. Like I literally lost the match because of this. I had complete control of the board at this point. There was no way I could have possibly lost. But then I figured out a way to do it. It was pretty awesome. Um, so
Hey
before we
guys,
get into
remember that time I was winning? Well, check this out.
yeah, basically. But before we get into that, like the person I played, Scott, he ended up winning, taking the tournament, which is awesome. Good job, Scott.
He's a good player.
If you're watching to this, eat a dick. And he uh he had a deck that basically is what I drafted on Friday,
Hmm.
with more rares or whatever. And I felt that the deck was really good, really solid, did a lot of work. It was the red white exert E type deck, and it played really well. I thought it was pretty good. Um, but I wouldn't have said he had, like, if we all would have got together and looked at decks and voted, I think for the like they were calling me the anti-fun deck because it was the best deck there, you know. And then Sunday they did that sealed box,
Yeah.
which looked like a lot of fun. I wasn't going to drop $100 unless I was going to make it even. It was already odd, and I was going to be the even guy. So I just judged and did the thing, and I walked around and watched everyone open and stuff, and people were having me look at their decks or whatever. And I would have told you Scott had the best deck, hands down. He had, I think, the white deity, maybe the green deity, like the best lands, solid removal, like across the board. Like I just felt like his deck was definitely the best deck. Where our friend Nathan, friend of the show, Nathan, um, had like this medium red white, again, exert deck with a super low curve and a lot of really powerful cards, again, like Assault Injury and a few others, and just wrecked everybody's face.
Yeah.
Just completely annihilated everything under the sun. And I would say, other than an Assault to Injury, his best card was probably like a Fling Cat in a
Okay.
vacuum. Oh, he may have had a Glory Bringer. I take it back. He may have had a Glory Bringer. Which would have obviously been the best card in his deck. But it was just like, attack you for exert these 3 dudes, or cast a, insult, attack with these 3 dudes, exert. You want to take, 16, you want to do some chump blocking.
Right.
And it was just like that all day for him. And he was just eating everybody's face. And I mean, again, that's just how you, like, we got to play the games out. We can't just look at decks and vote. Because it's just variance and decision trees get you every time.
Yeah.
So I felt that way. I've been on that side where you flood out and it's like, man, I didn't even get a play. But you're like, well, but I put 16 lands in my deck or 15 lands in my deck or whatever. And it's like, sooner or later, I'm going to draw that curve. So I'm like, the next tournament, and you're running hot and everything goes perfect and you win and you spike and you're like, I'm the best player ever. Just have to remember, those highs go with those other lows of, I can't draw a magic card to save my life, or I can't find a land. Like, I think if anything should be the show unofficial motto, it is variance happens and it can eat a bag of dicks. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
but anyway, real quickly before we pull into these decks, which is going to be the meat of the show. I have 2 decks. Travis has at least one that we're going to look at. But I want to talk just for a second about my misplays. So my opponent had a bunch of creatures, and I had just either killed or bounced all of his creatures, and with a turned over thing in the ice. And I attacked the turn that I flipped over thing in the ice, taking him to 13. I untapped. I played Trail of Mystery, I think it was, or Trail of Mystery, or Trail of whatever it is when you play a sorcery or instant, you get a clue.
Okay.
With that enchantment. And I was like, well, I want my clue now. So I used a removal spell to kill the creature that he played last turn. One of the two creatures he played last turn. And I looked at my life total, and I'm at 9. He's got one creature left. And I'm like, even if he... And I know what 2 of his cards are in his hand. He's only got one other card. I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure I can attack this turn. And I think he has to block, because if I had... And I know what's in my hand. I had a draw 2 and a removal spell in my hand, plus the clue. I'm like, I know that I'm going to be able to kill at least one creature, probably 2 next turn. So I think he's supposed to chump this turn, right?
Yeah.
So he can theoretically play the 2 creatures or 3 creatures he has in his hand and not die to me just having one removal spell, right? But he takes it. I'm like, okay. And then he starts untapping his lands, and he realizes one of his lands is a double strike land. And he looks at me and goes, I'm pretty sure I win now. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, this is a double strike land. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So he's like, animate my double strike land, attack you with my 2 creatures. We hadn't always watching out. So the double strike land was 6 damage. His other creature, which was like a 2 something, was a 3 something. So he 9'd me exactly. Where if I just saved my removal spell, I couldn't have lost, right? And played it on his turn. If I would have not attacked, he couldn't have won. Like, I could have taken 3 and just taken over the game from then on, no problem. Like, everything was set up. And I just like took the football and kicked it, because I thought I had already won. I'm like, oh, I'm in this position, I can't lose. And it's like, no, you totally did. You didn't look to see what his mana base was. You didn't look to see if you could lost on board. Like, you just went, nah, you can't beat me now. I flipped over the thing. I put all the things in your hand. I'm gonna lock up this game. You can't possibly win. Attack. And that was 100% the wrong decision, and just pulled me right out of the game. Just terrible. Also, super quick before we get in depth into deck lists here, I want to talk about my draft just a hair.
Okay.
So my first pick 1, pack 1. I don't remember what the rare was. It wasn't super strong, but I knew this on crop crasher is a very, very good. And he literally is the nuts uncommon. I think every time I played him, I won the game.
Yeah.
I just 100% hands down. I don't think I lost. Then I picked up 2 of these Blood Rage Brawlers. This is a card that I think is going to go into that red aggro deck that we were talking about earlier with the flings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like these plus the Lupine prototypes are kind of like made for each other, especially when you're talking about a fling deck. So you can drop one of these guys on 2. Theoretically, you can start attacking with this guy easily on 3, or maybe even because of this guy, Lupine prototype, you could probably get there.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of these. They were very good. I had 2 of these Emberborn Minotaurs. Again, same kind of thing, making something menace out of nowhere. Very, very good. This is the card, though, that I was kind of surprised by how much I liked. This Tall Crop Elite. So I talked to a bunch of other people, and they were super low on this card. So this is a white and 3 generic for a Bird Warrior 2/2 flying creature. And you may exert it when you attack, obviously. If you do, all of your creatures get +1/+1 till end of turn. Not just creatures that are attacking, not just power, but both sides. I think that's very important. So I like played one of these on turn 4. I played another one on turn 5. I played another one on turn 6. And I just felt like there was no way I could possibly lose the game. Even if I exerted just one turn, and I exerted all 3 of them, that's 15 points of flying damage. It was very easy to have already done 5 points of damage previously. So I was really pleased with that. Brutal Strength is going late. As a warning to the wise, warning, whatever you want to call it. I think I had 3 brute strengths. Again, same kind of thing. When you have all these exert dudes, they kind of go to town. The ability to give them +3, +1 in trample to end the turn is very good. A card that I felt was a sleeper for me, and I definitely think that people should try to get 1 or 2 of them, is this Deirdre's Resolve. I don't know how you pronounce it. But it's a single white mana to untap target creature, prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. Plus, it has cycling. I cannot say how good this card is in the red-white exert deck. The ability to just like tap out and exert, and they're like, well, I'm gonna have 2 turns to kill your face, and you just untap, block their biggest thing, or block and kill their thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then being able to turn around and attack with it again the next turn. Absolutely killer. Absolutely. And then the next best uncommon, Onward to Victory. If you have never cast this spell, this thing is insane. I gave it to the Exert Minotaur. This guy, the Emberhorn Minotaur.
Yeah.
I cast it on him. So he got +4/+0 until end of turn and became a 8x. And then I cast Victory on him, which gives target creature double strike until end of turn. So he was then an 8x double striker, to which I attacked and exerted, making him a 9x menace creature, which was often enough to win the game. Imagine that if you attack for 18. That needs 2 blockers, tends to be able to end the game.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
So just a sick little curve. One of the creatures I didn't go ahead and look up was the 2/1 trample red guy. That if you exert him, he becomes a 3/3.
Yeah.
Until end of turn. That guy also very impressive. I was very pleased with him. So overall, yeah, I think there's some interesting aggressive decks, both in limited for a change, because like previous sets, it really felt like you either wanted to be the evasion guy or the heavy removal guy, because the best creatures really weren't like super aggressive. You could be aggressive. There were aggressive decks out there in Kaladesh, but they were like, they didn't feel as aggressive because it's like, oh, well, I'm going to play this vehicle for 1 mana or whatever and make a 2/3 flyer when I tap another guy. And it's like, all you're doing, you're being aggressive, sure, but you're playing these suboptimal cards on their own because they work together to do this, or you know what I mean? And I just was like, aggressive is not the way to be. The aggressive is the way to be now. It really does feel very strong. Clearly, there's probably a deck out there that battles this.
And I know,
I don't know what it is right now.
So far, out of the 2 times that I've drafted, I have noticed that blue is open probably 70% of the time.
Which I think is wrong. I think a lot of the cards in Amonkhet that are blue are also very, very good. And we can talk about that real quickly. But before we get too far away from my deck, the deck I ended up losing to was a green-blue deck, for example. And again, piloted by Scott, who had my number this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Play like the 5/5s for 5 and the 7/7 worms for 7, I think. But what he ended up doing, after I worked really hard to kill all those things, The last creature he was able to play was that 6/7 hexproof guy, and then he equipped it with that enchantment, that blue enchantment that gives it flying and draws a card.
Oh, gross. The
Oh, it
cartoon.
was absolutely disgusting. Yeah, the cartouche, absolutely disgusting. So I don't think blue is bad in this set. Like the last couple sets, a lot of people have been down on blue in limited. I disagreed, but I think even more so now that that's wrong. Blue, I think, is very strong. Now, please give us your comments from what you've noticed about blue.
It's just open. It's like nobody seems to be taking it until mid-pack.
Right, no one's moving in.
Right.
I would agree because that's what's happened at our draft tables as well. Again, I mean, we ended up having like this weird 3-way tie for essentially first, where I managed to win due to tiebreakers or whatever. On this week's draft, but I did notice that it seemed like I should have been in the black red cycling deck or the black blue cycling deck. Like there was ample black removal, there was ample blue card draw, there was ample blue like flyers for reasonable prices, but nobody wanted to move in on it. And I think that's again a construct of the past, where people are afraid to, like, oh, blue's bad, so it's been bad. I'm like, well, it was pretty good in Shadows draft, Shadows, whatever it was, I forget.
Yeah.
But from the last 3 or 4 sets in limited, it's been very bad. I don't think that's true now. I think all the colors are very draftable in Amonkhet now. I'm inclined to want to be the aggressive black-white deck, I think. But I bet there's a good counter out there. I just haven't done enough. I don't know. Do you think that do you think it's the worst color?
Blue?
Yeah. I mean, obviously you didn't move into it until halfway in the packs.
Well, I didn't move into it because I already had, well, and I didn't move into it at all. I was just trying to force my embalm because I had great cards off of that. But had I seen the signs earlier and like realized it more than halfway through, I would have been like, screw it. Why not blue? Because there's really good evasion that they have. And obviously blue has always been a synergy strategy. So I don't know. I think I might have to force blue in order to find out if it's weak or not.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said I've been pretty pleased with it so far. I guess though this week will be the real test, right?
Why? What's this week?
Another draft.
Oh,
this now
right.
challenge to draft blue.
Yeah. Monday. Next Monday.
Oh, for you Monday. For me, yeah. Friday.
I think
mere days away.
I think it's either Thursday or Friday this week. One of the locals here, he's moving across state because he got a job in his career field from college. So instead of doing a format at the store, I think we're just doing a cube.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, like a modern cube.
I mean, it sounds like fun, but I hate that stuff. I'd rather just draft my set.
You just hate drafting powerful things for free. And instead
That's
we
true.
pay money to get tilted sometimes.
I mean, that's what I live for, right?
Right.
If I'm not tilting, I'm not living.
If I'm upright, I'm not tilting, which means I'm not doing something wrong, which means my life sucks.
So I would pull up Travis's deck here that he linked, but he just linked the MTG Goldfish decks.new link, which is a blank form. So unless you save it or send me an image, we're not going to look at it.
Oh, well, son of a bitch. I pushed save too. Damn this internet. You know what? I'm just going to read you the cards.
Okay. Read us the cards.
All right.
And I
So
will try to, I will
it's
try to make a word picture.
huh?
I will try to color this word picture.
All right. Let me just go ahead and freaking unorganize it really quick. All right. So obviously it's got the metalwork Colossus
Right?
because
Love
that's
it.
the point of the deck. But then I have my playset of that. I have my playset of Fling.
Yep, love it.
I have the playset of Prophetic Prism.
Okay, love it.
I have 3 Metal Spinners Puzzle Knot, the black
That's the
one that
black
draws a
one.
card. Yeah.
Love it.
Um, I have the playset of Fatal Pushes.
Okay.
Uh, I have a playset of Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot.
Okay.
Just for the life gain and
Sure.
energy. Really important. Uh, and then what else have I gone through? So I got the Fatal Pushes out of the way, got the Puzzle Knots, got the Fling and Metalwork. I have a playset of Hedron Archive, obviously because that's 6 mana towards the Colossus.
Bennington was playing that in his Colossus deck. I didn't love it. I think at the end he ended up starting to cut it.
It's it's good for me because like more often than not it just draws extra cards.
Sure.
So I have all those. I have the Cultivator's Caravans, the playset. I have 2 Efficient Constructions.
Can you hear that?
The dog.
It's a cat. I hate this cat.
That's a
Just
cat.
die.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Carry on.
So yeah, I have 2 Efficient Constructions. You remember that one?
I do. I like that card a lot.
All right. 2 Reverse Engineers.
That card I'm a little less high on right now, but go on.
1 Battle at the Bridge.
I like it.
And the last spell in the deck, I'll get to that after I do the land base. Because I feel like you're either going to hate it or love it. No in between with you.
That's pretty true. That's basically 100% factual.
So, my mana base, I have 2 Spire Bluff Canals.
Okay.
A single Fetid Pools.
Okay.
The new Bicycle Land.
I'm not calling it that, but okay. You can
Why?
call it that if you want to. I'm not calling it
I
that.
will call it that. And I'm going to get everyone else in Salina to call it that until you do it.
I'm not doing it.
All right, so I have 1 Fetid Pool. I have 3 Mirror Pools.
Okay.
3 Sanctum of Ugins, obviously to go get more
Right.
Colossus. 1 Inventor's Fair.
Okay.
2 Spire of Industry.
Okay.
Playset of Ether Hub. What's that look?
I'm trying not to burp.
Oh, playset of Cascading Cataracts.
Okay, I like it.
1 Gaia Reach Sanitarium.
Which one? Oh, that's the draw one if you don't have any cards or draw and discard?
No. Yeah, each player draws and discards.
Okay.
2 Handwear Battlements.
Okay, the haste one.
Yeah. And that's my 23 lands. Okay. And then the last spell that I didn't say, Tezzeret, Master of Metal.
So I don't hate most of this. To be fair, the only card that I disliked was the Reverse Engineer.
Okay.
Right. And I think that the new Pull from the Future is probably just better.
What's that one?
It's blue, and X.
Oh, yeah, the draw X and discard.
And discard 1. I really like it right now. I think it's very good. But I think in your deck, it's going to take another one of those Inspire Sanctuaries to like power it. I'm really high on that card right now, especially in these artifact-based decks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now everything looks like a nail, right? Because I got a big hammer.
So how do you feel about Tezzeret?
I'm okay actually with Tezzeret. That's the one that makes the Lotus Petals as his plus, right?
Nope. It's the Precon one.
The Precon. I don't.
The 6-mana one?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Okay, so
You have access to the 4-mana one, right? That makes
yeah,
Lotus
yeah,
Petals.
yeah, I have access to that.
That turns on Fatal Pushes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay.
Hear me out.
No,
I have
I'm pretty sure you're dumb. I'm pretty sure. I'm
all
pretty
right.
sure that we're gonna. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So he comes in with five loyalty counters.
This already
His
sounds
plus
dumb.
one,
Go
reveal
ahead.
the top card of your library until you reveal an artifact. Put it into your hand, the rest on the bottom in a random order. His neg 3, target opponent loses life equal to the number of artifacts you control.
Right. I yes. If
And
you
with
can get him to 8.
23 artifacts and 2 efficient constructions, he has won me the game quite a few times.
Okay, so let's pretend this instead, right? Let's take away your idiotic. I'm going to ult my planeswalker.
It's not the ult, it's the second ability.
Whatever. Let's take this box.
This Tezzeret only has 2 abilities: draw and they lose the game.
Let's put this in the box. In this pretty little box. 1 second.
Yeah, it's a fun box.
Okay. So the 4-mana Tezzeret +1 creates a colorless artifact named Lotus Petal, right?
Right.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
-2. Target creature gets +X -X till end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control.
Yeah.
And you have a freaking 10/10.
Uh-huh.
So you like plus it and give it +9 -9, and you're already planning to fling it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're spending 6 mana for something that may win the game sometime, as opposed to 4 mana for something that either makes room for your giant ass attacker or wins the game.
I like it better because I can use this bicycle land.
Thumbs up, I guess, for you.
Just remember, everyone, it's a bicycle land because it cycles and there's 2 colors.
Okay. Hey, it's fine. You make that go. I still think it's dumb and I won't use it.
You won't use that phrase, bicycle land?
I will endeavor to not. How's that?
I'm gonna make sure everyone else.
That's fine. We already have a couple of individuals trying to pull it off, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's because I told them to.
They're doing it. They're doing it. So I was inspired the other day, late at night, and I put together the Before You deck list. 2 Knefnit, the Mindful, who I think is absolutely amazing right now. If you think I'm wrong, you need to play with that magic card. It is insane. 4 Attune with Ethers, 2 Commencement of Festivities, which is a bad fog. 4 Haze of Pollen, which is a good fog. 4 Pieces of the Puzzle. 3 Splendid Reclamation. 4 Bring to Light. A Fumigate. 3 Descend Upon the Sinful. 2 Approach the Second Sun. 4 Dynavolt Tower. 1 Aether Flux Reservoir. 1 Aetherworks Marvel. And 3 Retreat to Kazandu. The mana base, I believe, is something to be awed at, of Aether Hubs, Cascading Cataracts. I think that's how you say it, right? Cataracts. 4 Evolving Wilds, 4 Forests, 2 Irrigated Farmlands, an island, a mountain, a plains, a scattered groves, 2 sheltered thickets, and a swamp. These are made with cards that I actually have, right? So I have been looking at, and you and I have been talking about it for a while, trying to figure out a way to break Retreat to Kazandu. Why are you continuously Facebooking? Why are you trying to make this a thing? Why do you hate life, Travis?
I don't hate life. I just enjoy it differently.
Go cut yourself. All right. So we've been trying super hard to figure out how you can make these cycling lands the retreat to Kazandu and Splinter Reclamation work.
You mean the bicycling lands?
Sure. The cycle lands. And boom, I found the answer. It's pieces of the puzzle and bring to light.
No, it's okay. So piece of the puzzle. You look at the top 5. Throw.
You put 2 instants and/or sorceries into your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you put the rest in your graveyard.
Okay.
So the only things that we don't either put in our hand are the Dynamo Towers, Aetherrex Reservoir, and the Marbles.
Okay.
Right? Pretty easy. We throw all lands in the graveyard all day, every day. So hopefully we either find more pieces of the puzzle or a Splinter Reclamation or a Bring to Light or a Fog or something to keep going.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty obvious. At some point, we either use a Bring to Light to go get a Retreat or a Fumigate if we need it, or a God if we need the card draw. Right? Also, you can use Bring to Light to go get a Splendor Reclamation if you need it. Like, this all kind of like jives together. Bring to Light has been looking for a home, and I think this is it. Right?
So,
and then you go put like 8 lands back into play with your retreats to Kazandu, and you tutor up either a Reservoir to win the game or approach the Second Sun to win the game or whatever.
Right. So why not the other blue and green spells that also do that?
That do what? Put lands in the battlefield?
No, the pieces of the puzzle. So there's the 2-drop from the set that has cycle, or you like look at the top 5 and put any number into the or no, each player mills 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I looked at some of these, but I wanted to be able to put potentially 2 spells in my hand.
Yeah.
From doing it, and this was the only one I found that did that.
Because yeah, well, and I was also going to say there's that green one that puts a creature and or enchantment into your hand, so you can get like Kefnet and the Retreat into your hand.
But it's only with Kefnet and Retreat. I only have those 5 hits for that spell.
So,
and I wanted to be able to put spells in my hand. I specifically want to be able to put a Bring to Light, a Fog, a Splendor Reclamation into my hand.
So why not also put Wildest Dreams in there? That way, in case it gets thrown away.
So Wildest Dreams was actually a one of, and I cut a Dynavolt Tower for a version of the deck, and I put a Wildest Dreams in.
Okay.
And I think the more I fiddled with it, the more I want to cut down Dynavolt Towers to like a 2 of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't know how necessary it is to keep multiple Dynavolt Towers in the deck once you have gone to a Bring the Light. So win conditions essentially are Knef, Approach the Second Sun, Dynavolt Tower, Aetherflux Reservoir. And basically you're just trying to get people to cut themselves.
Right.
Essentially. That this game is going to take so long that they just want to end it themselves. So the more I think about it, the more... Because I originally started with this Dynavolt Tower Approach the Second Sun idea. Because I'm like, well, if I'm already playing the Teamer deck, and it's basically 4 Dynavolt Towers and all these things, maybe I just want to go deeper into this. And I feel like, if anything, I want to cut the Dynavolt Towers and just add more cards to slow things down or irritate people. So I think there's a lot of potential in there. But I want to make sure that whatever we add, or whatever I add, also works really well with the Bring to Light. So I'm not real sure where to go on some of these things. And some of these numbers may not be right. This was all brainchild thought of. I think I sent this to you like at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning or something.
Right.
But I think this is a good place to like start if you're willing to go super deep, specifically because you want to play Splendid Reclamation with cycling lands.
Yeah.
So I really do enjoy it here. Did we actually get a message from a viewer while we were watching? No. Okay. So then this is what I'm actually thinking about playing for the next PPTQ I'm thinking about attending on Saturday. A friend of ours, Jackie is thinking about going to. There are two competing PPTQs. One has the advantage of being sealed, and the very next day is another PPTQ, like reasonably close. So I know a lot of people are going to make that their weekend, hitting the double. So I don't know how well this other one will go. That's kind of nearer by. So
Okay.
I'm thinking I might go with Jackie to go to this. And again, I'm just in this place. You killed my cat. Let's just play the slowest, longest, most painful game of Magic the Gathering known to man. So my mind is here. For those of you who can't watch the podcast at youtube.com/SamusGarobo, I'm going to run down the list here. And of course, you can also go to samusgarobo.com for deck lists after the fact. But the dogs are barking. You bastards. 2 Knef, the blue god again. 3 Torrential Gearhulks. 4 Censors. 2 Essence Scatters. 2 Negates. 3 Disallow. 4 Engulf the Shore. 4 Glimmer of Genius. 2 Confirmed Suspicions. 2 Commit to Memory. 2 Approach the Second Sun. 2 Trail of Evidence. And the key to making the deck work, 3 Keys to the City. 4 Inspiring Statuary, and 22 lands, of which all of them, except for Aether Hubs and Adventure Fairs, are islands. Whether they are irrigated farmlands or port towns.
I still think you need to cut. Well, I don't like the port towns or the Aether Hubs.
The Show Me lands. So the Aether Hubs were actually a suggestion by Jackie, because the idea of my sideboard at the moment is to run 4 Thought Knot Seers,
Okay.
4 Reality Smashers, and 4 of the Eldrazi that taps things, or the ones that make the 5/5s that tap things down.
Okay.
Grounder of Hopes. So my thinking was I wanted some butthole lands if I decided I want to do that, because I do not believe that Inspiring Sanctuary allows you to tap for butthole mana.
Nope.
So I may even have to adjust this even more if I want to go that plan.
Well, and if you do that, then maybe Engulf the Shore shouldn't.
That's the problem, exactly. Like Engulf the Shore would have to come out if I went for this sideboard plan of Eldrazi.
That or put some number of port towns as the Tango lands.
Well, none of those butthole either.
I know,
Now,
but
if I were to do that, I would end up taking out the Inventor's Fair and some number of islands for Evolving Wilds and 2 wastes. But again, I'm not sure that's what I want to do. I like the idea of something like that, especially on the various big Eldrazi's that have flash or whatever. So I could just tap all these artifacts and these clues that I'm making and just flash it in. Particularly the not Drowner of Hopes. What was it that everyone was playing in the old Saheeli deck to tap people down on their upkeep?
Elder Deep Fiend.
Elder Deep Fiend. I really like the idea of the Elder Deep Fiend. I also really like the idea of the Mind Twister one. They all cost 8, and you can sacrifice them for a black and whatever. I like those guys, and I like the fact that they're colorless and that you can just glue them into this shell. But I'm not 100% sure that this would work out. So I'm hoping to do some play testing, maybe tonight, or maybe on Friday, go to the arena early and try to get some play testing, and I'm not sure. But I love this Key to the City, Inspiring Sanctuary card draw combo. I think it's very good. I could even potentially take out Trail of Evidence, but I think the idea of I'm going to say no, and essentially for my deck make a mana is very strong, very appealing to me. So like maybe the God moves to the sideboard, and more like another Trail of Evidence makes its way in. I don't know, but this is where I am right now. So I also really like the idea of like play Approach to the Second Sun for a single white mana, tapping a bunch of artifacts, keeping up counter spells, and then they go okay, tapping a white mana and a bunch more artifacts, and saying, "All right, here's my second one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do about it?" So I don't know. This is just where I happen to be. I think it's kind of fun. I don't know if it's any good. Thoughts other than cut a something to go down to 60 cards?
What's Sensor do again?
It is a Force Spike for 2 mana, but it also has Cycle for 1 blue.
Right. Okay.
Which is tricky because I don't think I have. I think I have 1. Which is obviously kind of so-so. I wouldn't mind going up to 4 Gearhulks. The original list had 4 Gearhulks. But the fact that it doesn't get something in particular is kind of weird. So, I don't know.
Someone's stomping on your...
Yeah, Remington is home. We're pushing the time frame for we should be heading out. So, final thoughts on this?
I think what on your deck in general?
Yeah, on the deck in general.
I think it's pretty good. I don't know what I'd change about it though, because I haven't played it. Like,
well, I just said I haven't played it yet either. I've played the tower version. So basically, instead of the Approach to Second Sun, the Key to the City, Inspiring Sanctuary, add in Dynavolt Towers and like one more, or add in 4. Go find a basic land.
Yeah.
And a slightly worse mana base, and this is basically the same thing I've been playing as the tower deck.
Right.
So I'm 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I feel like Engulf the Shore is huge right now. I feel like a lot of people are trying to win with creatures, and they're trying to win with a variety of creatures, and I think this just like sticks it in their bum.
That's why I'm just trying to win with one creature.
It's true. And throwing it at my face. To which I go negate.
Some people may say that we will fling it at your face.
That's true. I still negate that.
I'll just copy it, whatever.
I'll disallow that copying. I totally disallowed somebody cracking an Evolving Wild yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
How tilty were they?
Oh, they were super mad. They didn't play Magic with me anymore after that game.
Good.
They stopped.
That's how you know you won. That's why. Okay. So.
Oh, go ahead.
I know you don't like Modern at all because you're boring, and you hate a variety of decks.
No, I have to play. I have to play cat combo now.
You can. You can play cat.
Like I have a deck now.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So. I was playing around with my Jeskai Ponza deck, and just because you know the Ponza is land destruction and everything. Right. And I'm splashing white for Sphinx's Revolution, and Ghostly Prison.
Again, because it's you.
Yeah. So the deck is basically, the 4 Stone Rains, 3 Molten Rains, 1 Rolling Terrain, and then 4 Boomerangs and 4 Squelches, and then Pyromancer's Ascension.
Right.
So if I stabilize it early enough, and I don't, allow them to attack me with the ghostly prisons and all that other BS that I'm doing, then I essentially just boomerang their entire field and they can't do anything about it. And I'm just sitting there not winning, but they're not winning angrier.
Right. That's up your alley. I said that's just where I'm at now. This cat, the loss of the cat combo has put me in this place.
Well, there's a really fun modern deck with Saheeli.
Right. I'll totally be playing something along those lines.
But are you going to mill them?
Probably not. But maybe as a one of. We'll see.
It's a turn 3 mill.
We'll see. We'll see. Why are you rolling your eyes at me when you're the one who wants to play like these 18-piece combo decks? Like, oh, you'll never get to play a land when I activate my Pyromancer's Ascension and bounce all your things and yay.
You're just doing it wrong.
That's fine. Speaking of doing things wrong, please check out samusgarobo.com, where I basically do everything incorrectly, according to Travis. I mean,
and I laugh.
You might as well come over here and spank me. Spank me right on my bottom. You can send us an email. We had a couple of emails this week, mostly non-deck list related things. We did get those. We did send out some answers. So thank you very much for that. The email is the number 2trollsbrew@gmail.com. Of course, you can get that linked at every place I post the show notes. Please check out our various Twitter feeds. Samus Garobo, SAMIUSGROBO is my Twitter feed. Travis is Turtle Power, the number 319. Not a lot of shenanigans out of Travis this last week, which is weird because usually he's pretty shenanigans full. And of course, please check out my twitch.tv/Samus Garobo. I got a Twitch affiliate approved this week, so I'm on the way. Like, baby, shut up. Jeez.
They did.
No, they didn't. I can still hear them. They're just less loud. I finally got my affiliate thing, which is what I think the reason why I was getting denied for partnership status is because they were in the process of rolling out this thing for the smaller streamers, but they're real regular. So hopefully I'll start. Like, I already collected some cheers. Yay, cheers. It's pretty exciting. Nice, interesting ways to go. So what do you want to do for a game, Mr. That's Your One Job each week?
I don't see why you had to assign me a job.
Well, you started out with 2 jobs a week, and now I do one of them. So you still have at least one job.
Yeah, but you're the one that's going to be getting all the profit off of this show, so you do it.
Okay, you want me to do it, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. 'Cause I really don't care if we play a game or not. That's something that you want.
That's true. I do like these games. You don't like these games at all?
Meh.
Fine then, troll on. No one likes you.
Yeah, Bicycle Lands, troll on.
You big party pooper.
Bicycle.